Okay, 1, 2, 3. There we go. Now got to match up those spikes for when I put this all together.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something you have to end up doing for when you're doing your podcasts?
Yeah. Pretty much all the time. We do 2 clap syncs at the beginning, 2 clap syncs at the end.
Yeah.
Because since it's really fucking long recordings, usually like, especially with Discord lag and like 5 people, usually I as many as possible so that it's easier to line up when I'm editing and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. It must be pretty difficult with, say, having 5 audio tracks as well. Like, it's never quite right. I found when I've been doing this, like, you can't just line up the claps. You have to kind of go through and like listen to a question.
The thing is, honestly, it doesn't matter anyways, because I end up editing the flow so much that like there's not really any silences usually, because I just like edit those out. Also, I'm really sorry. I'm like hungover as fuck because I forgot I was doing this today. Yeah, last night I just started watching the shitty Resident Evil movies, and like I got super wasted.
That's no problem. This is like not formal at all, so don't you worry.
This is gonna be the most. People already tell me I sound tired. This is gonna be the most tired I ever sound online.
Oh dear. So kind of when I start these, like I kind of do a breakdown of your channel and your subscribers and your views and when you've joined. But I feel like I can't do that in this case because looking at all the work you've done, you've got your fingers in so many different pies. I don't even know where to start. You've got your Please Stop Talking podcast, which I kind of go through the numbers while I'm here. You've got just below 44,000 subscribers, over 2.3 million views. You do The Pain Hole, which is almost at 10,000 subscribers with 255,000 views. And Patreon with over $1,000 a month coming in. With all these these different creative outlets that you have, these games, these podcasts, and this music, D&D as well. I've been playing some Dungeons and Dragons recently. Where did it all start? What kind of got you going with all of this?
Jesus, that's a hard one. I mean, YouTube was always the thing I did really. I think like most of my life I was watching YouTube when I was a like 10-year-old or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And I guess I got into creating stuff when I was back then. I was making Let's Plays and like video game reviews, and I guess that's how I started thinking about how when I was a kid, like the openness of it all, like how anybody can do anything on the platform. That's what I guess led me to usually just, I don't know, it's hard to explain because I'm my brain is French right now, but basically like it made me realize that the potential for creativity and for making shows on the platform, and that's why I always considered YouTube like a very serious platform that has that I can always like look into. So when I was doing I was looking for stuff for my portfolio, because when I was in college, it's not really college, but let's call it college because it's easier. But when I was doing audio engineering stuff, I needed for one of my classes to do portfolio things, and everybody was like giving their resume to radio stations, TV stations, marketing firms, whatever, and a lot of them were getting rejected. And the thing that I always thought was like, well, usually content creators on YouTube, on SoundCloud, podcasts, whatever, they don't really know what they're doing with audio. So I was like, well, shit, I'll just like give my Can I swear?
Oh yeah, to sell the fucking.
Oh, okay. I just decided like, oh shit, well, if I actually want a chance in this, I'm just gonna start sending like an email to like all these different YouTubers and content creators because they
Yeah.
and I do you want me to actually find the email that I sent to all these people?
Oh yeah, go for it. That'd be awesome.
Let me find it. It's been so long. This was like 2 years ago.
Okay.
I sent this to every YouTuber that I was watching back then. I sent like, dude, legit hundreds of fucking. Where is it? What is it? Yeah, there it is. I sent this to like every YouTuber I used to watch, which I mean I watch a lot of YouTubers back then and even now, and
Yeah.
this is what I sent them. The title was Mixing and Mastering for Your Voiceovers. Hey there, I am recently graduated audio engineer from Canada and I'm currently looking for work to put into my portfolio. With that said, I was wondering if you guys would be interested in me mixing and mastering the voiceovers for your videos? I'm not asking for money in return. I just really enjoyed what you guys do and want to support in any way I can. If you're interested, hit me back up. That doesn't make sense. Hit me back up or add me on Discord at da-da-da-da-da. Cheers. That's what I sent to like everybody. And I did do I actually got a lot of messages back, which was really surprising. A lot of big YouTubers would send me back. Not even to be like, oh yeah, I'm interested. A lot of them were like, oh, that's super nice, but I don't need this, I don't think. And I was like, okay. But the ones that were interested, I actually started working with them like pretty closely. In particular, Avery, Shammy, I guess. Yeah, that's how I met him, and we hit it off pretty good. We hung out on his Discord and stuff, and when he hired me, he was the one that told me he wanted to start a podcast. And at the
so Avery started it.
Yeah, I didn't. I wasn't even supposed to be on the podcast. I was just supposed to edit and like help them with the recording and all that.
Yeah.
We actually, there is like a Please Stop Talking episodes like that. I nobody has it anymore. It's very much long gone, but the original cast was going to be 3 people. It was going to be Avery, our friend Kyle, and another one of our friends that I don't know if she wants us to say who it was, but she was on there, and it was all the 3 of them, and it was I think they really didn't like the recording.
Okay.
And they just threw it out because it was way too messy. But it was the 3 of them originally, and it didn't work out. So
didn't quite work.
Yeah, after that it took like I remember Avery was like, let's just like fuck that, and let's keep the focus on the videos for now. And I remember we just kept the focus on the videos. And eventually, like way after that, I remember being we kept hanging out, and we had met Cameron, and then Avery and I were like, Cameron's a really good fit for the podcast. He could be a good third. And he was like, well, David, like you might as well be on the podcast too if you're gonna edit it. And I was like, well, shit, I guess. And I guess that's how that's how we started Please Stop Talking with the first episode, which is now called episode 0 because we think it's fucking trash.
And I mean, I think it's 47 episodes you've had since that episode 0. From those
a bit more than that, just because of like the there's a lot of extra episodes, I guess. Mm-hmm. Like the ones that we call them lost files, basically, like when we record and like something happens and the recording fails, or something happens and it's not funny, we just like take parts of it. So like, yeah, it's a bit more, it's a few more episodes than 47.
And how often would you say that happens, that something something goes wrong, like, we're chatting now, and I'm recording mine, you're recording yours, I've got backups, and something nearly always goes wrong. But is it common for when you guys do your podcast?
Not really. I think it only happened like 5 times. A bit more than 5 times, but I know that there's 5 lost files, and there's probably more recordings that we had to scrap just because they weren't funny, or it was just not the vibe, like a bad vibe. I don't know. It doesn't happen a lot usually. It's pretty rare that it happens, but when it happens, like we'd rather like not put it out and just like retry another day, because if we're not gonna force out stuff, I guess. If something doesn't work out, we'll just like regroup like the next day and retry again.
And after these 47 episodes plus the lost files and the extras, how do you feel that your style has kind of changed over time, and what have you kind of learnt, say, initially for you being your sound engineering, and then plus you joining onto the podcast, what have you learnt in the kind of the aspect of sound engineering and content creation?
Well, I feel like I've been taking it. I always had like a lot of because before all this I've always had companies. Yeah, I was always very business centered. Like before the podcast, when I was in college, actually, I had this this business that was like basically an agency, and we created music, like electronic music events around the local Montreal area, and like I use a lot of the knowledge that I learned from that and put it into the podcast. Mostly it's like marketing, social media and all that. I think that's like one of the most powerful tools by far. And I guess also like when we were starting out, it wasn't very like, I don't know. I feel like the more episodes go by, the more I realize that one of the most important parts when you're a content creator is not to let the content define you, but for you to define the content. So I feel like the podcast, and by extension the channel and everything that I touch, has been more and more about the people and less about the content, just because in general people are more like, people listen or support you, they'd rather support you than support the content. I don't know if that makes sense, but
they listen for the personalities in a way.
Yeah, it's basically the personalities and all that. That's what I think happened, because I remember at the beginning it was mostly about like, we would do a lot of events, like we would do gaming events and like episodes on that, and then eventually we were like, these are fucking not interesting. Or if I mean, that's I don't know, people say they thought it was interesting, but like we always felt that those were our worst episodes, and also those are not timeless at all. Like if you listen to an E3 2016 episode, you're going to be like, well, it's 2020 now. Nobody gives a shit. Those games are already out. Opinions on something that wasn't released yet isn't interesting. So that's why we kind of stopped doing those, because it was just boring as shit. And now we focus more on content where our personalities, our stories, all those things shine through a bit more.
Yeah, stories about catheter bags.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Classics.
Portuguese IDs, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so let's say you've got you're about to start doing your podcast. You've met for the week and you're going to start recording the next episode. With that in mind, what we just talked about, do you kind of go in with a list of things that you could talk about on the side as like a backup, or is it like, okay, everybody start recording, let's just go for it and see what happens?
We used to have like themes for episodes.
Yeah.
And I guess we kind of stopped doing that. Because I remember we had, the thing is, like, it's been fucking 47 episodes. we could do themes for episodes before when we had like a shit ton of things to say, but now we don't really have. There's not like you don't have infinite fucking stories in your life, you know.
No.
So eventually you have to stop focusing on the stories and more focus on like shooting the shit. And I guess that's what we've been doing more recently. We haven't been introing the podcast at all. We just get into it and we just like talk like we would usually talk, but in a more like recorded, I guess, environment where I don't know. I don't think there's a real switch nowadays when we record the podcast between like when we start the episode and before. It's very like basically like how the podcast goes. How we speak on the podcast is how we speak before the podcast. Like there's really not a lot of difference.
Yeah, it's very authentic.
Yeah, I think the only difference is that we actually know that we can't talk about pretty much anything because there's a few things we won't talk about on the podcast, you know, like relationships or whatever, like you know, like just like stuff that we don't want out there.
Of course, yeah.
That's like the only thing that we don't talk about on the podcast. It's pretty much a free for all after that.
Okay, yeah. I think I was listening to one earlier. There was a big discussion about bread.
Oh yeah,
not liking bread. Yeah.
Yeah.
It does go some strange places, and you live in Montreal. It is a very nice city.
I think it's the best city in the world. So.
Have you lived here all your life? Were you born here,
yes.
or did you?
I was born here. Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah. I don't know if you got affected by the power cuts a few days ago from the wind. I think it was on Thursday or Friday.
I was.
Thursday.
Yeah, we were. My roommate and I were. It was Friday. I remember because Friday nights are when we get drunk and watch shitty movies. And we got fucking Kung Pao and we were like so excited to start. And the moment we click on play, just the fucking power goes out. It was the saddest shit.
Yeah, it got me really bad during the day. Yeah.
It's really fucking
terrible.
annoying. I swear to God, it always fucking happens every week. There's a fucking power goes out in fucking Montreal. It's so annoying, dude.
Yeah,
it's so fucking annoying.
It's a pain. I work remotely, and around my area, the power wasn't going out completely, but it was switching off for like a second. But that was just enough time for the Wi-Fi box to mess up. So like it would go off, come back on, red lights everywhere, resetting, then it'd be fine for half an hour.
It takes like 15 minutes for the fucking router to go back to normal and the internet to flow into your computer. It takes so fucking long. And you're just there like, oh my God, I'm just wasting so much fucking time.
I was watching one of your streams yesterday in preparation for this, looking at things we could talk. Oh no, not at all. I was actually interested to find out, are you a fan of Half Alive, the band Half Alive?
Sorry, I'm trying to remember who Half Alive is.
They did Still Feel.
Oh, yes, I like Half Alive. I mean, I'm going to be honest, I only have listened to a few of their songs. I haven't listened to I've only listened to 2 of their songs a lot. I haven't checked out their album or anything.
Okay, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
I do like them. I like them quite a lot. I know my follow-up question to that was going to be, did you see them live in Montreal not too long ago?
I have not.
They came down.
The last show I've seen. What the fuck was the last show? Oh, I think it was Madion. Was the last one, and I met a fan there, and it was weird as shit. I swear to God, every time it's so weird because it never when it happens, it's always when I'm like downtown, and I'm always caught off guard, and I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck? What do I do? What do I say?
Yeah,
I'm honestly like almost 100% of the time so much more stressed out to meet the people than they are to meet me. It was like
so
that.
Did you like?
Sorry.
They said you like sign autographs and
stuff
like that?
We took a picture. I was almost shaking. I was like, oh God, oh shit. That was like when I went to PAX for the fucking meet and greet.
Mhm.
I was like, we were in the hotel room and I was looking at Ed and I was like, this is gonna be the worst shit of my life. I'm gonna fucking die. I was like freaking out. Meeting people. I'm not introverted at all. I'm super like outgoing and stuff. But when it comes to meeting people who listen to the podcast or the streams or whatever the fuck, they know me before I know them.
Yes.
Or
Yes.
I don't know how to explain it, but like they're familiar with me, but I'm not familiar like with them, or like we're not on the same level of knowledge, you know?
No, they got something
That's
to go
when-
off straight away.
Yeah, that's when it's super fucking scary for me. That's when I'm like, oh shit, they could tell me anything, and I'd be like, I don't know. That's a weird thing.
Yeah. And outside of, I know you went to PAX East in March of this year. I think it was March or late February.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember. It was when the pandemic started.
Yeah, and I was actually reading up about it. I googled, PAX East 2020 because I wasn't quite sure if it actually took place or not. If around that time, if it would have kept going or they cancelled it, but
It was
kept
it
going.
was literally like 1 week before the lockdown. So it narrowly happened. A lot of devs didn't like, especially Asian developers didn't go.
Yeah, I think Sony pulled out.
Sony pulled out. The Monster Hunter devs, when we went to the competition, the devs didn't show up. Because they were supposed to meet like meet and greets with the team, but they couldn't go because of the they were afraid of the pandemic, I guess.
Mhm.
And yeah, a lot of people pulled out, and then a week after that I was supposed to go to another convention, and it didn't end up happening. So
No, it's
because the
stopped.
lockdown like basically started when I got back. I remember my mother was like, "Oh, you can't go to Boston. You're gonna fucking die. You're gonna get the flu and die." And I was like, "No, Jesus, it's fine. I have immunity."
Yes. It's all fine. But looking back on it, I searched like PAX 2020 COVID just to see if it still took place, because I wasn't quite sure in my mind if it wasn't or not. And I was reading this article, and there's a quote by one of the people at PAX, one of the organizers, and they said, "If you're feeling really ill, stay home," she added, "but barring that, you should make sure to get your flu shot every year, do good hand washing, have alcohol-based hand sanitizer, and please cover your cough."
Yeah, there was a lot
changed.
of there was a it was pretty much like there were like just free. I think they were giving out like free masks for people and shit. I don't know. It was weird because like for most people back, like that was like right before it got really serious. So people were like whatever. It was a very like whatever moment. Nobody gave a shit. And then when I got back, that's when it was like, oh no, like this is a serious this is a pandemic now. And it was like, oh fuck. Because before then, when we were at PAX, it was not a pandemic.
No. At the time, actually, I think it was like mid-January to early February, I was in China. I went there for
Oh man.
for a holiday. But at the time, it was especially bad because the lockdown had already kind of been in effect while I was there. Plus, it was Chinese New Year, so all the cities were deserted. Everything was locked down. The only places that were open were pretty much McDonald's and some supermarkets. Everything else was closed. It took me 4 bookings to get out of China because my flights getting cancelled, and luckily I managed to get I got a one-way from China to Hong Kong on, I think it was a Thursday, and then on Friday they announced the closure of the border to mainland China from Hong Kong, and then I got a flight from Hong Kong to Canada to get back just in time. So I got very lucky on
yeah,
that.
that's super, super lucky.
Yeah, so I've been on lockdown since like mid-January and a couple months. But, hopefully we're coming out of it. I know in Montreal...
some places, from what I heard, like people can see you can visit people now, because my roommate was supposed to go to a friend's house today or some shit. So it's, from what I can tell, I think it's maybe lockdown is ending. Question
It's
mark. I'm not
slowly,
like
yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't watch the news, and the news stresses me out recently, so I don't really watch it. I
Yeah.
just wait until my mom calls me and she's like, "You can do shit now," and I was like, "Oh fuck yeah."
I think on the 22nd of June, 22nd or 24th, restaurants are opening again. So
Yeah, that's what I
yeah.
saw.
And some other shops have already opened, but it's so confusing about what's allowed and what's not.
Yeah,
Just
and
keep
a
waiting
lot
for
of
once everything's open again, I'll go back outside.
mm,
Until then, who knows? So another question I had for you was looking at all the content you make. You've got these podcasts. You're doing the Painhole gameplay YouTube channel, and also music seems to be a really big creative outlet for yourself. Are you currently working on any music production? Because I was taking a look at your stuff, and it seems it's been a little while since you've released any songs.
Not really anything planned music wise. No, music is I don't know. It's just I've been having trouble with releasing anything music wise,
Yeah.
because I'm very much a perfectionist, and especially for music, it feels like, I don't know, I haven't found what I wanted to show the world yet. So I'm still making music like pretty much every week. Every week I make music, at least once when I get the fucking free time, because I work a lot. But yeah, I just haven't found anything that I want to show to the world yet, and I don't want to release any. It feels like I don't want to release anything until I have something solid, I guess. I don't want to just like release something that has no real meaning except like me fucking around with my music software.
Yeah,
So
I
I
want to get it
don't
like
really,
on point.
Yeah, I want something that has artistic value.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't been doing that really with music. I haven't been like focusing on artistic value. I've been mostly doing technical stuff and also doing production for other artists. So I don't know. I just haven't worked on my own stuff.
Okay. And looking at your Twitch channel, the last post you made was about 20 days ago, and it seems like you're making a new setup. You've got a nice little sofa on the wall, this old TV, these lights. Do you have something in the works in terms of, say, like streaming? Is that something you're going into? What's the whole setup there for?
Well, I was, I just moved out of my parents' place. I got a really huge studio, which I'm in right now. I'm very lucky, and I've been basically building this studio so that I can, if I ever have an idea for a stream or a video or whatever, I'm making it so that the least amount of technical time just like fucking around and getting the technical stuff working as possible. Whoa, am I even making sense right now? I feel like I just like said word vomit. Basically, I'm making this studio with creativity in mind. So I everything is set up so that if I have an idea, I can do it in like no time at all, not thinking about the technical stuff, just like turn on a switch and I can stream, or turn on a switch and I can record a video. I'm doing everything with as little time as possible, just like with the technical aspects, and more time creating. And
Gotcha.
I've been building, I wanted to build this set because a lot of people always ask me, because pretty much every channel that every like YouTube channel that I'm working on, except my music, is all like collaborative with other friends. So people often ask me, are you ever going to make your own videos, your personal videos? And that's what I like. With the push from a lot of my other friends, I basically got the idea to actually start my own personal channel, and this set is all a push to actually get it into video production again, because I used to do it for my personal channel long ago when I was doing video game reviews. Although I think that's a fucking oversaturated market, so that's not what I'm going to do. But yeah, I'm actually waiting on the not finishing touches, but just like I'm waiting on some equipment to get here before I can actually start working on my first video for my channel. And I'm excited to actually get back into writing scripts and stuff, because I used to do that a lot and I kind of stopped because I was busy with podcasts and other stuff.
And is that a secret what you're planning on working on, or
can you give some clues? No, it's not at all. I'm never keeping secrets, really, apart from, I don't know, I have a weird thing where I'm like, I'm a very open person, which is not always good, but sometimes good. And what I'm working on is my channel is going to be like mostly like just whatever the fucks, just talking about whatever I'm into at the moment. And I want to talk about, because when I was a kid, when I was a kid, I was watching the Family Channel. For those who don't know what the Family Channel is, it's it was basically like Disney Channel but in Canada, I think, right? Something like that.
I'm here as an immigrant. I didn't grow up here, so I'm not quite sure. I'm afraid
it's fine, but it basically it's the Disney Channel but in Canada, from what I can tell. And when I was a kid, I watched that, and I just saw this short clip of this children's BBC game show called The Raven. You might know about it. It was like it's like a weird.
Is that the weird bald old man, and they have little challenges they do as kids?
I don't know about the bald man. He was very much not bald. He would call himself the Raven, and he would like put. He would. Okay. Yeah, he was just making these children do fucking weird shit. And I remember like the episode I was watching, there was this girl like all in purple, and she was like crying and screaming, and the Raven was like, it's time it's time for you to go, you've been eliminated. And then there were just like 3 ring rates that just came out of nowhere, and they just took her. And I remember that shit scarred me. I was like, what the fuck is happening in this game show? And I wanna my video. I want to talk about that game show, because I found it again recently, after thinking that I imagined it when I was a kid, but no, it is a real game show. And I was watching one episode, and when they were doing like a challenge on the water, and me and my roommate were watching it, and then one of the kids fell into the water and was like, "I'm drowning," and I was like, "Oh my god!" And the Raven was just, they kept going back to the Raven, looking at him with a smile, and the kid was like, "I'm drowning, I can't breathe," and I was like, Jesus Christ, dude, this shit is fucking insane. I fucking love it. And that's I want to make basically like videos on things I remember seeing as a kid, and that I want to just like, I don't know, talk about, because I think they're funny. I think it's funny when children drown, basically.
Yes, good content for YouTube. It rang a bell. Like I can picture it in my head. And did they do challenges? Was it like
they did? It was like weird challenges where you had to like. There was one where you would not just drown. Like. Well, yeah, the challenge was not drowning, I guess. They would have like very, very small wipeout courses, and you would see like the ring rates in the back, just like using machinery and making the glove like punch these kids off, and when they would fall off, there would be like they would like disappear into like shitty early 2000s CG. It was fucking beautiful. These fucking children dying. God. Yeah. I'd
love to see a video on that, like breaking that down, because I think that would resonate with the Canadians, particularly the UK as well, because it was a UK show. Like
it was,
there's quite a few people like you can.
Yeah, it was Scottish, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I remembered why I thought of the Bold Person. There's another British show called The Crystal Maze where they do challenges.
I remember The Crystal Maze.
Yeah.
No, the Raven, the main character was literally called like Raven, and he was just like had a faux hawk and a raven thing. Yeah.
Oh God, and I'm definitely looking forward to that one. That'd be a good one. And outside making this content, doing these podcasts, the Let's Plays you're doing, what do you play for fun? So let's say you're not making a video, you're sitting down at your computer, PlayStation, Xbox, whatever. What are you currently playing?
Right now I'm playing through God of War.
Right, nice.
When I play a game, I don't play a lot of games, and when I play games, it's usually like very, very specific type of games. I usually only play JRPGs and stuff. What was the last game I played? The last game I played before God of War was Final Fantasy VII.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Basically, I only play third-person games. I don't really like first-person.
No, I think I saw your Twitter post earlier, something that was an announcement about a first-person game, and you instantly lost interest.
Yeah, that was God, people are gonna get really upset when they listen to this. But like, I was really Ghostwire was announced yesterday. Like they showed gameplay of Ghostwire.
Is that like this? You're throwing stuff at ghosts in Tokyo.
And they do like hand signs for the weapons, and when I was so hyped for that game, and I was like, oh hell yeah, Shinji Mikami game where you play as Ghost Detective. That's gonna be sick. And then I saw the first person. I was like, no,
out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably gonna play it just because it seems like I might be interested. I just don't like first person at all. I don't know why.
Yes.
It's just, I feel like every first person game is just kind of very samey. It's just not my type of game, but I can see why people like it.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. While we're recording this as well, I don't know if you saw earlier the PC gaming show event. I don't know if you watched that.
Yeah, dude, it was like fucking 3 hours long. It was way too long. Way too long. Yeah, I was watching that with my roommate.
And I'm guessing you're pretty excited for that Persona 4 Golden PC announcement if you're a JRPG fan.
I mean, yeah, I already played it though, so I'm probably not going to spend another 200 hours on it. I played it like when I was a teenager, so I'm probably not going to play it again. But it's pretty exciting that people get to play that game because it's a great game, and it's also it pretty much like became the top seller globally in like no time at all. So that's exciting because that probably means that there's going to be even more Persona games or like Japanese games that get published on Steam and that are more accessible. Yeah, I think probably because like I feel like Persona is one of those series that people were asking for so long, and now that it's on Steam, they might port the other Persona games and maybe even the Shin Megami Tensei games. So that's great. I'm just happy that those games are becoming more accessible for people.
Yeah, I think it'll be a while before they release another Persona game on the PC though, because Persona 5 is so new that if people are interested, they would have already bought it by now. And I think the reason Persona 4's been so overwhelmingly positive so far, and it's only been a few hours, is there's been such a big gap between when Persona 4 was released and now that people will buy it again. Yeah,
I'm expecting maybe they would put up Persona 3 FE. Was it FE the version?
I never played Persona 3. No.
I think they might like think about re-releasing those older games. Because that's what I'm more interested in. I'm not really interested in Persona 5 because, like you said, most people already played it. I'm more interested in having those games, like the older Atlas JRPGs, seeing them on more accessible platforms because they're fucking expensive. Like a lot of them are like so old. It's pretty much like impossible to play unless you pirate or have stacks of money.
Yes.
So as long
exactly.
as those become accessible, I'm pretty happy. Video game conservation is really important, and nobody gives a fuck.
No, I did sell my old game collection I think it's like 2 or 3 years ago, in preparation for moving to Canada for this short while. But there was one console, like we had like stuff like the PS2, the N64, PlayStation 1, stuff like that, and we sold those and we made good money. We're not going to play them again. We appreciate our time with them, and we didn't just throw them away. Somebody bought them. They have it now. But the one console that my brother and I we didn't want to sell it without even saying anything to each other. We just know we didn't want to sell it was the Dreamcast. For some reason, we just couldn't bring ourselves to sell the Dreamcast, and I have no idea why. But
probably because it's a rare console. I guess. I wanted, well, not rare, but the games are fucking expensive. The console isn't super expensive. I've been wanting to get a Dreamcast for a while now, and it's so expensive because I want to play. I want to probably stream like those old fucking shitty horror games that the Dreamcast had a bucket load for no reason.
Yeah,
but those are like expensive as shit.
Yeah, Choo Choo Rocket. That was another one. Power Stone. I think people forgot about Power Stone. I've really played it very much.
Yeah,
that was a great one. I absolutely love Power Stone. But yeah, we couldn't bring ourselves to sell that one. I know you've played Shenmue. I think you did a stream a few months back for a charity event.
Oh yeah, we for the Australian bushfires with Creel and Brendaniel.
And have you played Shenmue before that? Were you a fan of the series at all?
No, I never played those games. Creel was the one that really liked those games. I mean, I got interested in those games after we played with Creel, but the thing is, I feel like I would just get frustrated because there's so much. They're so old and there's so much waiting and fucking dumb stuff. I don't know. The tedium. It's a very tedious game. I feel like if you're not playing with a friend, I have no patience. Also, like that's a good thing to mention. I have zero patience, so it probably doesn't
literally
help.
having to wait for the bars to open to find sailors just sitting there waiting till midnight.
Yeah, and a lot of times they're like, "Oh, meet me at 3 p.m. tomorrow," and it's like 4 p.m. the day before, so you have to fucking wait.
Yeah, no skipping. Although
very tedious. The second game does have skipping, but the first game you had to literally just wait. And
that was before like having smartphones and stuff, so you probably didn't have much else to do. You just sitting there literally waiting for time to pass.
Yeah, I guess the arcade was there for that, but sometimes you don't have the arcade close in Shenmue, so can't play Outrun.
Exactly. A few days ago we had the PlayStation 5 announcement. The Games A showed off for that console. Were you a fan of the announcement? Are you going to buy a PS5? What were your opinions on what we saw a few days ago?
I'm still I don't know. I'm probably not going to get a PS5 soon. I still have so much that I haven't played on PS4. I'm basically just like playing the games on PS4 that I missed out on because they're cheap now.
Yes.
And probably going to do this. I'm basically always a few years back when it comes to game releases. I'm probably not going to get a PS5 unless it's backwards compatible. I heard people say that, but now I'm not entirely sure that's the case.
They didn't mention anything, I don't think, at the
that was a big rumor, was like it could play PS4 games because it was a very short generation, I think, or something. And I don't believe that.
I think
anymore.
the architecture is quite similar between so the reason the PS3 wasn't you couldn't do backwards compatibility is because of the cell processing. It was very, very difficult to run PS3 games on a PS4, but a PS4 is much more like a PC, and the PS5 is the same idea, I believe. So the idea of backwards compatibility is a lot easier. And I also think there was a stream a few months ago I think it's called like The Road to PS5 or something, specifically talking about the hardware of the PlayStation 5. And Mark Cerny, did mention backwards compatibility a few times, so I think it is coming down down the road for the PlayStation 5.
Okay,
well, I haven't had anything official.
Once it's official, I will probably get one.
Mm-hmm.
But until then, I don't want to buy another console.
They are expensive. It's
a lot. The rumor was like $600 US again. $600
yes.
US, and I'm like, oh man, I don't want to spend. I don't want to spend that money.
No.
I'm a fucking cheap bitch. People always ask me on stream like, have you played newest game that just released? And I'm like, no, I'm not made of fucking money. I don't have I don't have 80. I don't have fucking it's not even $80. It's like $90 now for a fucking new game. Especially here in fucking Montreal, the fucking 15% tax. You fucking crazy? It's $90 per game. I don't have I don't want to pay $90 for a game that I'm not even sure I'm gonna like. I'm gonna wait until it's like $20. And even like I swear to God, I'm such a fucking cheapskate. When I see a fucking game at $40, I'm like, I'm not even sure I want to buy a game at $40. You know, $80. Yeah. Of course I'm not gonna be interested unless it's Final Fantasy, because I'm a shill for Square. You know.
Yeah. But I don't think it's being cheap. Like it's expensive. Like that is a lot of money. Like $90.
Dude, that's like groceries. That's like my groceries, dude. I don't know.
It's insane.
It's fucking expensive as shit.
Yeah, and I suppose that the last few years as well, there's been that change in gaming culture with all the sales and stuff going on, and you know, if you go back 10 years, it may not have been the same idea. I
know that it is like the price of video games is very cheap when you consider the fact that how expensive video games are to make.
Mm-hmm.
But like, fuck, man, as a consumer, I don't know, man. I don't have that money. You have to like either have a lot of money or be ready to like not do anything. I don't know. It's very expensive.
Yeah, it is a lot of money. And even as well, like the price of games has kind of stayed the same over the last maybe 10 years or so. Like it's always been around the same price.
Longer than that, dude. Fucking the SNES, like a lot of games were even like around 80, 90.
Mm-hmm.
So like things didn't change much.
And even with inflation as well, like it should be cheaper now, but it doesn't feel like it. It still feels like a lot of money to throw down for a game. Even taking that into account. Well, I
mean, game rentals back then.
Oh, they were great.
Yeah, nowadays can't really rent games. I mean, the Game Pass is pretty cheap. You know, Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah.
I was gonna name other ones, but Xbox Game Pass is pretty much the only good one, I think.
The Origin
I don't know about PS.
Can be okay.
I guess. I guess it depends on like what games you like to play. I think everybody can agree that $15 for Uplay is fucking stupid.
Oh no, I don't know anybody who'd buy a Uplay subscription. It's
literally like
that's weird.
I think they have like 10 games that people would be interested in for $15. Fuck, that's so much money.
It is. It's too much.
Xbox Game Pass has like everything for like $5. It's so nuts, dude. How are they making money?
I mean, even then, you can get the Xbox Game Pass for the basic one that covers the PC as well, and they've got so many offers on. You can get it for $1 a month.
Yeah, that's what I got. Right, that's what I got like last week, and then I checked what games they had, and they just added Kingdom Hearts to the fucking service on Xbox One, and I'm like, that's a fucking insane deal. Like the entirety of Kingdom Hearts, that's like 8 games that are all like 100 hours each. That's nuts for $1.
Yeah, it's a good price. But yeah, it's a lot of money for games, and services really are picking up. PlayStation Plus, I feel, is it PlayStation Plus? PlayStation
There's PS
Gold?
Now and PS Plus.
PS
PS
Plus.
Plus.
Yeah. I feel like it lags, I think.
Yeah, I mean, PS Plus is just like 2 games a month. About 2 games a month, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I can't
Yeah, it's
remember.
around that, yeah. I feel like 2 good games, then like 4 fluff games.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
This month was Battlefront 2 and
Okay.
what was the other game? Call of Duty World War 1, 2.
Oh, that okay. Right.
I don't remember. I don't even remember the fucking name. That's how much I give a fuck.
Oh dear. So I had one last question for you to wrap things up today, Sir Meow. I was listening to your podcast, and when you were speaking to Avery and the team, you get a lot of questions from your patrons that you sometimes answer on your podcasts. And what I've heard from your podcast is you like hypothetical questions more than specific questions, like what's your favorite color. So I kind of wanted to end this mini chat that we've been having with a hypothetical question for you, to see how you'd answer this one. So my question for you is, you have a button which when you press it does something. What does yours do?
My button sends the fucking Big Chungus meme to every hater comment I've ever had in their fucking email. Every time I press the fucking button, it sends all these motherfuckers Big Chungus just to annoy the fuck out of them. Just because it's the shittiest fucking meme. And fuck those clowns. No, I'm kidding though, for real. Sometimes haters have good points, but sometimes they're just trying to be mean. So just like retaliate with Big Chungus. You already won the argument the moment you send Big Chungus. I'm just saying that right now. Like if you ever get in a fight with somebody online, it's not even worth fucking fighting with them. The only thing to do is send them Big Chungus and you win. What the fuck are they gonna do? What the fuck are they gonna say? You already won.
I like how some people to that question would say, world peace, or give everybody some money, or solve famine. But this time we got Big Chungus. Big Chungus for the haters.
Yeah, Big Chungus for the haters. That's all I have to say.
And on that note,
world hunger can wait. Big Chungus is
yes.
forever. That's what Reddit would say.
Exactly. And on that note, thank you very much for spending the time with me today. I've had an absolute pleasure. It's been an absolute blast. And all the best. And thank you for everything. It's been great.
Thank you.